families. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I'm thrilled that you're here. And today I want to talk to you about facts. And when we were all in elementary school, we learned that a fact is something that is true. Like George Washington was the first president of the United States of America. Or 2 + 2 = 4. We learned some basic information that kind of everyone agrees is true and that facts don't change. But Neville Goddard teaches us that our assumptions harden into facts. And so really, facts aren't always facts as we learned about them in elementary school, which is what I want to talk to you today. So very often when we're manifesting something, it's something that is not a fact. It's something that is not yet true, and so we can't call it a fact. So for example, if you're manifesting a specific person to be your boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other or partner, you may say something like, so-and-so, their name, say your specific person's name is my boyfriend, and it not be a fact as people would understand it, right? And so what you can do, but like manifesting is taking that thing that in 3D reality is not a fact and then living it in your internal world in such a way that it becomes a fact. So your assumptions harden into fact. So some of us have a hard time accessing, like we're just very logical and literal about the world that we're living in. And you may want to say, but it's not true. So-and-so, my specific person, is not my boyfriend yet. And I get where you're coming from in wanting to say that. And I do think absolutely when you're interacting with your friends, when you're, talking to your, people that you work with, whoever, you don't necessarily want to just say things that aren't true yet as if they're facts. Although you can, right? You can manifest that way. But a shortcut to manifesting is to really feel as if that's a fact in your imagination. Now, just because you do that doesn't mean you live your life as if that's the fact. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me try again with that. So what you're doing is you're going into your imagination and you're accessing a place in your internal world, in your imagination, where so-and-so, your specific person, is your boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other, whatever gender and idea that you're working with for your situation, right? You're going inside there and you're living in that internal moment in your internal world as if that is true. It is a fact there because in your imagination, you can create anything. Anything can be true there. And then you're staying there and you're there and you're there. And then you come out of there and you interact in the 3D world as you know it. But you visited the place where the fact is in your imagination. And eventually, by visiting that place or doing that internal work enough where you see that fact and live in that place, however briefly, 5 minutes a day, 3 times a day, you don't have to do it all the time, although you can do it quite a bit if you enjoy it and it feels good. And it will eventually push out into 3D reality, onto the screen of space, and that will manifest in your life. The key is to keep persistently and consistently make sure that you're doing that visiting, that imaginal work in your internal world. And it really should be, I don't want to say easy because, like committing to really anything can be challenging. But in this case, it's something that you should enjoy, right? I really enjoy it when I get what I want. Even if it's in my imagination, even if I'm just thinking about it. Now, if that feels bad to you, like if when you go in your imagination and you imagine being in a relationship with your specific person and you're together, it feels bad to you, that absolutely means that you have an active story that even in your own internal world, you're not letting yourself have what it is you want. And you really do need to do that. That is a step that I feel like needs to happen. Is it like in your own internal world, you need to let yourself have what you want. And then it will push out into 3D reality. But if you're having a really negative or bad feeling when you're doing your imaginal scenes or you're doing your manifesting process, you have an active something inside of your imagination that is telling you that you're not going to get this or you're not worthy of this or whatever it is. And you need to let that go, right? You need to let that go, and that will really be key in your manifestation coming into your 3D reality. So that's what you need to do. So just to recap, facts, things that are true, you want to start a fact, even if it doesn't appear to be true in your 3D reality, you want it to be a fact in your imagination when you're doing your manifesting techniques, when you're doing your visualizations or your affirmations or whatever it is. You're going to make something a fact, right? And just because it's not a fact in your 3D reality, you're doing your internal work. That's where you're doing it. It can be a fact there because it's internal. If for some reason that doesn't feel good, then you might have something going on where you don't believe yourself. But remember, this is just in your imagination. It doesn't have to be true in the 3D reality. You're visiting a place in your internal world where it is true because you completely control that reality, the internal one. And then as you dwell on that and you stay in that internal reality, it will push out in the screen of space. So I encourage you to give that a try, and may you manifest exactly what you want.